Hey guys, Coach Kylie here. So I'm going to walk you through the exercises in foundational strength number 1. So let's get to it. So first up is a dumbbell bent one arm row. So this is basically where you're just doing a pulling motion with the dumbbell. And usually there'd be a bench, but I'm using an ottoman right now. And you want to make sure to keep your shoulders level. So not tilting like this, not using your momentum, but really keeping your shoulders on the same plane. And you don't want to hunch your back, you don't want to arch your back. You really want to keep that flat, neutral spine while you're focusing on pinching your shoulder blades together and keeping your shoulders on the same plane. Next, we'll be doing Russian deadlifts or RDLs. And so with this, you really want, it's basically a hinge at the hips. So you're sending your hips back, keeping the weights as close to your legs as possible. So sending your hips back and then squeezing your butt to bring yourself back up. So this is basically a hamstring and booty exercise. Sitting back in a chair and you're squeezing your booty to bring you back up. Make sure you're keeping your shoulder blades pinched while you're doing that and your shoulders back. Next is a one arm standing press. And so we're going to bring the dumbbell up to our shoulder and basically use our abs to press it up. So make sure you're standing in an athletic position. You're keeping space in between your ears and your shoulders, so keeping your shoulders down and your shoulder blades pinched the whole time you're doing this. And on the other side. And if you want to put your hand on your hip for balance as well, you can do that as well. And looking at it from the side, you really want to keep everything in line. So keep your shoulder, your elbows on a straight line. You don't want it out in front of your shoulder. You don't want your elbow behind your shoulder. You really want to keep it in line while you're in that athletic stance. Next, you're going to step up on a bench and drive up your opposite knee, stepping back down. So you really want to use the opposite arm as leg, and you want to focus on stepping up and driving that knee as hard as you can up into the air. So go for correctness over speed. And once you finish all of your reps on one side, then switch to the other side and do all of the reps on that side at one time as well. So really go for violent motion. You want to attack the motion. This is going to help you with speed, with coordination, core strength, leg strength, and cardio. Next up are barbell back squats, but obviously at home we don't have barbells, so I'm basically just putting my dumbbells up on the meaty part behind my shoulder, the traps, where I would rest a barbell and doing my squats. So you want your legs a little bit more than hip width apart, and you really, again, want to send your hips back like you're sitting in a chair, and you want to try to get to 90 degrees, having your knees parallel with your hips or lower. And if you find your knees wobbling, you really want to stabilize those. So think of trying to force your knees out like you're in between two walls, and you want your knees to keep touching those two walls on the outside of your body. Next are dumbbell calf raises, and I take my shoes off so I can feel the ground better and really strengthen my feet. You want your feet about hip width apart, and you want to remember to keep your shoulders back, shoulder blades pinched, and keep your legs as straight as possible. So we're doing forward, and then we're turning our feet out. I'm doing the wide stance. See how I'm keeping my legs straight. And then we're turning our feet in to work on those outer calves and doing calf raises there. All the while engaging our core, pulling up in our legs, using our whole leg to lift up and not just our feet. And then lastly, we're working on our bridges like you used to do as a little kid. And this is to help work on flexibility, mobility, so that we get less injuries because we're more mobile in more different directions with our bodies. And you're going to hold that for 10 seconds.